Hello Infiniteers, I am back in Disneyland to continue working on the build for Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, and today I'm going to build the city portion of the toy box. Once again, my design is based on this painting that's displayed in Toad Hall in the real Disneyland in California. The city portion of the ride is shown in the upper section of the painting. The toy box buildings that I think best match the look of those buildings are the Main Street USA buildings. I tried using the pirate buildings in an earlier iteration of this ride, but they were much too drab and didn't really fit the look of these buildings, so I chose instead to use the Main Street USA buildings. I think they look better. Notice the street behind the motor car looks somewhat narrow and confined, so this is how I chose to lay out my city streets. And this actually works well because it makes it easier for drivers to bounce off the walls and smash into things as they go around the turns, which of course is half the fun of the ride. Alright, so as we get started, we're going to begin at the end of that tunnel over here on this end of the toy box. And I want to place a little helper block here. This actually lines up with the front edge of that little block there. Okay, we're going to put down a number of helper blocks as we go. We're going to go up to Building Sets Group 3, which is the Main Street USA buildings. And I'm pulling up my screen grab here. Alright, so I'm going to start with this building. We're going to put that right there on the edge of that little spacer block here, which I put down last time. This one will go right next to that. And then this one, this narrower one, and then the really short one here on the front. And then we'll put down another little helper block. And this takes us to the corner where I've got a little side street. So let's go up to the building pieces here, to the racetrack pieces. We're actually going to line this up with the edge of that block that I just put down. Bring this over. And of course we need to style this to be the same as the other racetrack pieces, which is the Pirates theme. I'll set that to be the theme. And then we need a piece here on the end, which takes us to there. And we're going to put down another piece over here, I believe. Yeah, it's this piece. And we don't need to really build too far in that direction because the player is going to go right by there. And unless they purposely stop and try to turn, they're not going to see anything. We just want to give the appearance of a side street. So that's what I'm choosing to do here. And we'll pick this piece up and put it back. And we'll come over here, add the little side building, and we don't need to go again too far here. I want to use the brick on the end of that as kind of the end of the alley, just so the player can't see beyond that. Because again, the purpose of this isn't to allow them to go that way. This is really just decoration that we're doing here. Okay, a little spacer block just so we kind of know where the sidewalk width is. This piece will go here. And now, this is the side the player is going to see as they're going in that direction. But really, this belongs on this side. So I'm going to put this down. And then we're going to put a little decorative front on the side there, just so that it looks a little better. So we'll put this piece down over here. And I think that looks a lot better. Alright. Pick this piece up to get back to that part of the drawer, put it down, And let's keep building down along the way here. And I'm just adding in a mix of buildings of varying heights and widths, just to make this not look too repetitive. The player's not going to have a lot of time to look at this, but if you make it all the same building, that'll be very noticeable. So you just want to kind of mix this up a little bit. Add in some variety. That takes us past that turn, so now we can look at turning and going down this way. And feel free to mix things up if you don't quite like the buildings that I'm choosing and how I'm placing them. You can substitute and mix them up a little bit. That's fine. You won't hurt my feelings. Just don't put a lot of variety, too much variety, because each of these different models takes up more memory. So you want to be careful not to use up too much memory here. All right, we're going to put a little spacing block in here because that gets us now down this way. And that lines us up right here with the edge of that. All right, so we're going to put this piece here, and this is just necessary. If you start building from the other end, you're going to end up with a gap here. This is just plugging the gap. So if you're wondering what I'm doing there, that's really all I'm doing. And I'm going to come back and add a few little decorations in front of some of these buildings here in a little bit, but let's get the main buildings down first. Okay, we only have room for that small one there on the end. Now again, we don't want to cut this turn off, so I don't really want to bring this building down here, even though I could. I want the players to be able to cut that corner and the AI cars to cut the corner without being too much of a problem. So what we're going to do is just leave that one back there. Put that down, and that leaves this area kind of open. So the player can, if they cut this corner a little too sharp, they're not going to run into those buildings. That's really the whole goal there. All right, so there's the perimeter of the city area. And now we'll start over on this side. So I'm going to pick this piece up, get back to the blocks drawer. And we're going to start by putting in this block here and 2 blocks there, okay? And again, I want to make sure I got to fill this gap, but I don't want to cut this off too much here, because the players are going to be coming through there blind anyway. So this building, first one, needs to sit back a little ways. And then the next one will sit out like that. I'm sorry about the little bit of pauses here that I'm doing because I'm forwarding through my screen grabs. Okay, so that gets us there. And then coming around the corner. And then around this way. And again, just mixing these up. And that takes you right up to the edge there. And notice we have a little half a block gap behind the buildings. That's fine. Player's never going to see that. All right, so there's that part of it. Now, next part of this, let's pick up this little block again. Make sure we leave enough space for our sidewalk. And I thought it'd be nice to do something a little special for this corner, so we're going to put this corner piece in here like that. And there's really not much to say at this point. Just laying out the buildings here. Let's see, yeah. Except we're going to rotate it that way. And put another one of these in there. Alright, so there is the layout for the town. And at this point, we can take all of these little spacer blocks out. And I'll let you go around and take those out yourself. All the others. All right, a few little extra decorations to kind of set this off a little bit. First one here. I want to come over and add one of these on this side. Just because that really needs it. And to mix things up over here, we'll go ahead and put a front on that building like that, which I think will kind of help things out a little bit. And you don't want to go too crazy with that. Okay, and on the little side alley, let's put one of these in here. And we want to put it on that side of the street because as players come around, they're going to be running into this side of the street and those buildings. So we can add this little decoration over there around the corner where it's out of the way and not going to hurt anything. So I think that's good. And we'll put another one down over here. And actually, I think we use this one. Yeah, put that one in there. And just adding some visual interest once again. Let me just zip through my screen grabs here to make sure I'm not missing any. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. I think I got them all. No, I did use the other one there. Okay. Well, whichever one you like, you can use. That's the one I had used. And I also put one down. Nope, never mind. Looking at the wrong thing. Okay. So there we go. We're going to fill in some additional detail here next time, but for right now, that's pretty good. All right, so there are our city streets with the little shortcut that cuts through there. All right, while we're right here, before we wrap this up for today, let's add in some of the other buildings around the toy box. So we're going to come out over here and put in the farm. And let's go back down to the blocks drawer. We're going to use this long block and we're going to line this up with the left edge of the road before it goes around this corner toward that bridge. We're going to slide this over and straddle that terrain seam. Okay, so that's what we end up with there. And let me get over. Yeah. All right, so then we go up to building sets group 4, and the farm is going to sit right on the end of that, just like you see there. We're going to add then one more building block. And again, is the exact placement of this really necessary? No, but if you get it in the general ballpark, you're fine. But once again, I know some of you really like to make sure that you've got your build exactly matching mine. And so that's why I do that little extra detail for you. Okay, so there are the 2 farm buildings that are going to be over there. And then we have one more building over here for this farm. And I thought part of the fun of this would be actually driving through the barn. That sounds like something Mr. Toad would do. And so that's what I've done. So we're going to use the farmhouse from the Cars playset. And there's a terrain seam right here between the racetrack left and that straightaway. And that's where I'm putting the farm. We're centering it right on top of that. So if you come down and select the racetrack road, you'll notice that comes right out to the edge of the barn and runs right underneath it. So that shows you where you place that building. I just thought that's really fun driving through the barn. And then coming out the other side and hitting the cows and busting the fence, and it just cracks me up. All right, so there are all of the buildings now for the toy box. And now that all of the buildings are in place, we can add all the little details like the fences and trees and parked cars and all the other breakable objects. And that's going to take some time, so I think I'm going to wrap up this video for today. I'll add in all of those things before my next episode, and when I come back next time, I'll show you the pieces that I used and where they need to be placed, and then we'll hook up the little bit of logic that we need. And so that means we're going to finish up this toy box in the next episode. So be sure to come back for that, or better yet, subscribe to my channel by clicking my photo in the lower right corner of this video, and that way you won't miss it when it airs. And before you go, leave a comment to let me know what you think of my city design here. That's all for me today. See you next time.